For generations, the path to building wealth was through homeownership, and everyone was chasing it. But for younger Americans, that seems out of reach. A new study shows that Americans born in the 1990s will reach retirement with a home ownership rate about 9% lower than their parents' generation. Instead of trying to save up, they're waving the white flag. And here's the problem. They're turning instead to risky investments and spending on non-essentials. Lee, so this begs a lot of questions. The first of which is homeownership still the best path to creating wealth?
Well, I think that young people are saying not only is it not, they don't think that they can afford it. So 75% of young Americans are saying that homeownership is out of reach. It's really sad. I think if you look at the study that you were just citing from Northwestern, the title of it is Giving Up. That's where young people are today. They've given up. They say that they don't believe that tomorrow's going to be better than, than yesterday. They're not optimistic about their future. They're not investing for the long term because they don't believe the long term is going to be there. So they're very much about instant gratification. So you're looking at a generation right now that's looking at high risk investments. They love crypto. They love, all of the stock activity. They love investing in experiences that many of us would look at and say, that's crazy that you'd spend your money on that instead of other things. But this is what they're doing because they don't have a long-term view. They don't believe in the future, and it's really, really sad. And these people look at the world and they say it's completely unfair because generations before didn't have it that way. So not only have they given up, they're angry. And that's why we're seeing so much of this sort of, I think, vigilante behavior is what I call it. These young people who are so angry and they make good money, but they're not making smart decisions and they're really angry. They're anti-capitalist and there are all kinds of things that are going wrong here. We could spend all day talking about this. I'm fascinated by this.
Can I push just on that a little bit?
Sure.
In terms of the younger generation? I think there are definitely folks out there like what you're describing.
Sure.
But I think Gen Z is kind of a multifaceted group of people, and there's kind of the angry, and there's people telling them all the time, give up, okay? I think on the left, actually, they tell them, give up, you can't do it.
I agree with
We're going to help you. I think there's a lot of folks in that generation who probably don't love the way things are, but I don't know that they've bought hook, line, and sinker into the idea that they can't get a house. So I guess what my question is, they've got this prognostication that 10% percentage point fewer of this generation will own a home, when they're their parents' age. But that could change really quickly, in my view, if circumstances allow it and the housing market loosens up a little bit and they grow up a little bit and maybe they go through, what did you call it, the spend-a-lanty or something?
The rich-a-lanty.
Rich-a-lanty. They go through that and they realize that was totally meaningless.
Well,
and maybe they turn a corner.
I think what you're talking about, though, is exactly what Charlie Kirk in the Turning Point message was to say you don't have to take this message that, it's going to get worse, that things are so bad, that things are out of reach. They talked about, and he talked about so much about what we need is the American dream to come back, where you can have a home, you can afford a one-income earner. He offered hope for people. And so, yeah, you have a huge amount of young people who fall into that bucket of saying we want hope, we're going to follow this, we've become more conservative, and we've seen that movement that really catapulted this president into office this time. But then there's a huge number of people, specifically in blue states and really in blue cities, that are feeling this way. And it's really, I'm scared for these people that feel this way because 40% of them feel it's acceptable to perform an act of violence against a company.
Right.
That you believe has done something wrong against you. There's a whole bitterness, outrage culture here that is sad and hard. It's made people selfish and really in the moment, and I don't think it's a good thing. But you're absolutely right. To call all young people this is a complete, that's the wrong impression I want to leave because
and I didn't mean to say that you were.
No, absolutely.
I've observed both. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Jackie?
The violence that Lee talks about is part of the shoot yourself in the foot blue state, blue city formula that will eventually lead, I think, to, people leaving, making better choices. Those people will be left to themselves. They're angry, high-taxed, sanctuary city loving people. I think about home ownership, and I personally do think it's part of the American dream. It should be attainable. I think about the alternative of renting and then investing in the stock market, for example. A lot of these young people are trying to do that because they can't get the home, but the rents are high.
Yeah.
The rents are high, too. And so I rather see you in a home building some equity over time than, to me, sort of blowing that money on rent and having nothing to show for it after a long period of time. I look at why. There's many reasons why the housing market and the rental market have increased, but part of it, in my view, is also has to do with illegal immigration, at least on the rental side. These people have come into this country. They've come here illegally. They do need places to live. Here in New York City, all of a sudden they were out of the free housing in the hotels. They had to go somewhere. They've got to have a roof over their head. And so that's part of the problem that goes back to the blue city conundrum and policy that sort of led us to this place. So, I think about these angry people and I just say, you keep going to the people that you voted for who made the mess, and you hope that they will fix it. And every time they try to fix it, you get deeper and deeper and deeper in it.
Dagan?
If you are not buying a home, you are smart, and if you're putting your money in other investments, good on you. Because I reject the idea that the family is about starting a family and building a family, that you got to have a house and you got to own a house. That is not godly. Home ownership is something that was an idea that was sold to the American people by the government, by politicians. It really started in the 30s during the Depression. And if you're choosing not to buy a house because, one, they're expensive, that you are stretching to come up with the down payment to cover the monthly mortgage, because what is out there for sale is kind of crappy. You're like, I'm not paying $500,000, $600,000 with a 7%, well, it would have been 7, now it's closer to 6, but 7% mortgage, 6% mortgage for the next 10 years, and having to go to like family members to come up with the down payment. Good on you, because that's a stupid investment, because you're going to get stuck in a house that you kind of don't like, that you paid too much money for, and then you can't move for 10 years because you're underwater. So all the people who can't buy houses right now, you're lucky. You're lucky. You can wait. Let the housing prices come back down to earth. They eventually will, because this is not something that the Federal Reserve will be able to prop up forever.
And you can start a family in a one-bedroom apartment. I
am proof of that.
I can attest to that. The neighbors may not like you so much, but you can do it.
My daughter in the living room was a fun experiment for a year.
I reject the link between family and beginning your life and having to own a home. I just reject that. It is a lie cooked up by politicians.